Hello, I am Anthony Michael Giarrusso, and this is Part A. It's the Part A! It's the Part A! And what's really interesting is I'm planning on using these bullet points in the future on all my videos to kind of, or at least for the videos that I do as voice recording, and I'll have exactly what's going to be in what I'm talking about. So, in this particular episode, Part A of Interview with God, I asked God about pedophilia, crime, ancient Egypt, and the solar system. So, these might be very interesting to you. I'm going to go right into it. But first, a quick announcement. Hello, I'm Anthony Michael Giarrusso. I have done an interview with God, and also I am planning on doing more interviews with other entities as well. If you have any questions that you would like me to ask God on your behalf, please email me at wondersofAnthony@gmail.com, and I will ask God your question or questions, and I will put them in a different recording, and I will upload this recording with your questions. If you have any questions directly for me, please use the same email address, wondersofAnthony@gmail.com. As I have stated before, if you send me those emails, I am planning on making an episode at the end of this series with all of your questions in one episode. Also, if you've already watched parts 1 through 4, I just want to let you know there's probably going to be at least 12 parts to the series, possibly more. Alright? So there's a lot of content planned coming. Now remember, there's a possibility that I am really talking with the real God, and I do believe this, at least at this current point in time. And that could always change in the future. Okay? B, I'm being deceived in that maybe I am talking to the real God or a real God, and there's some lies in here, but some truth. Or I'm being completely deceived by some kind of evil entity. Okay? And all of this is lies. But I felt like it was so important to share this information with you, regardless of the nature, because I'm receiving this information, and it appears that none of you are receiving this information other than when I share it. So, let's just get into it. I asked God, do all pedophiles go to hell? God replied, no. Few go to hell. Most come back to earth, and some come into paradise. I asked God, how do pedophiles make it to heaven? God replied, they followed most of my orders. I asked, which pedophiles go to hell? God replied, those who don't believe in me, those who have done sinister acts, those who disobey my orders on purpose to offend or defy me, and those who were born and never chose to do what was necessary to come to paradise to be with me. I asked, in the Bible it says, anyone who attempts to hurt these little ones should be cast into the sea with a millstone tied around their neck Doesn't this mean that all pedophiles should be killed? God replied, no. Pedophiles are lovers of my creation of humans. I have never judged a single person solely on wanting to mate with large age gaps or ages. The verse you are referring to is aimed specifically for people who physically harm or spiritually divide children. I asked God, what happens when pedophiles are arrested, and what happens to the police when they die? God replied, due to legislation and legislation enforcement, many legislators and enforcers of that legislation don't come to paradise because laws are of man, and sometimes not my laws, but other times they are. Some pedophiles and the police who arrested them end up meeting together again in paradise. Remember, I judge by intentions and what I have deemed as orders to my creation. I am the one true God, and the major reason people struggle to come to paradise is malicious intent. I asked God, if I had 1,000 speeding tickets, could I go to paradise? God replied, yes. This is why many police workers are banned from coming into paradise. Enforcing speed limits is not one of my orders. Many street racers of the world make it to paradise. People say, Godspeed you, because I love speed. I have created birds faster than cheetahs, and humans were allowed to make high-speed rockets and missiles. I asked, is crime a curse or created as a result of a curse? God replied, yes, it is both. I cursed some lands, and some lands were cursed by others. The most cursed land I have cursed is the land of the city of Damascus. The most cursed land by humans is the land of the city of New Orleans. Most human curses only span across city streets, but the whole city of New Orleans has been cursed properly by humans and their involvement to a total surface space. I asked God, where and why do automobile thefts exist the most in terms of direct curses and not direct crime? Meaning crime that humans just happen to commit, not necessarily because of a curse. I want to know about where automobile thefts happen due to these curses. God replied, it is because of jealousy, greed, and desperation. The United States of America, South Africa, France, Cyprus, and Romania have been extensively cursed with this matter. I asked God, why does the Great Pyramid have 8 sides? God replied, they wanted it to be a daylight and starlight compass for travelers. That is also why they made it so large. I asked God, how did the sands bury the places of ancient Egypt? God replied, Some of the sand was silt from localized flooding. Most of the sand was blown in by the winds. I asked God, does preserving a body through mummification increase the chances of going to paradise in death? God replied, it doesn't make a difference because you leave the body when you die. I asked God, where did the builders of the pyramids get their mathematical knowledge to build them? God said, I told the Muslims exactly how I wanted them. They didn't come up with this on their own. Then, in other parts of Egypt and Sudan, they created their copies of the pyramids. Hundreds of years later, pyramids became the #1 style for monuments across the world. How was the precision so precise on the Great Pyramids? God replied, my people allowed me to enter them at the same time, so I could construct these pyramids with my creations. I desired to want to build with my creations instead of just for my creations. That's what God said. I asked God what you did to have those pyramids created. You possess those people, so then they could be that precise. Yes, that is correct. That is what needed to be done in my eyes, so I could leave marks on this world for generations to come. This is the same for many of the megalithic structures you have seen around the world, and why they are so perfect. It's because I created them with the use of my creations. I asked God, can any objects land on the gas giants of Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune? God said, yes, but humans don't possess technology to do so. Some angels, some demons, and some extraterrestrials have already succeeded. I asked God, have you landed anything there? God replied, I don't need to land anything there. I'm always observing these locations in real time, constantly. These planets are my creations. Make sure to go and check out more of my videos. I don't just do videos about God. I don't just do videos about other entities. Okay, I do a lot of travel work. I do a lot of motivational work. I do a lot of political work. So just go find my videos. Have a wonderful and lovely day or evening wherever you are on this planet. And don't forget to watch my next video. This should be part 5.